leather gloves, we're slapping in hands. Popcorn and peanuts, we're working the stands. Pink cotton candy, love on a stick. He's chasing the beer, the trick of the lips. Play ball,
Frankie.
play ball. Load up the bases and smack it right over the wall. Play ball.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Laughter Saves Lives.
Caps.
Live! Here on Facebook Live and Strong Island TV and radio. We're here today with the big snowstorm that hit us out here in Long Island.
You have to turn your volume off.
We lucked out.
Einstein.
We lucked out in Belmore, New York. We didn't get hit too hard. How did you guys do with the snowstorm? Massapequa, you did it right.
Well, did you see all the volunteers, the fans of our show that shoveled out the studio so we could get in?
Yes,
here
it was
today?
very nice. How did you do?
I cried.
I had no problem. I drove to work this morning.
No problem. Yeah, no, it wasn't that bad out here.
Eric was okay.
But I know people got hit pretty hard.
Unlike you, I have to go to work.
So tonight's guest, we have to reschedule tonight's guest due to the weather. Due to the weather. What? Yeah, sure. Due to the weather. We're going to talk a little bit tonight about our weekend.
Guest?
I don't want to. Our guest was J.J. Boyd. He will be here in a few weeks.
Scheduling conflict.
Scheduling conflict. Steve Oliver is out on assignment. He's over there. He's going to be right over there. We're going to hear him. We got Steve Perillo in studio.
Yay!
And Giovanni LaRocchia. Giovanni. So it's going to be a good show. My Fitbit competition, I almost won over the weekend, but I got tired, and then I fell back a few thousand steps. So I know everybody's very interested in my Fitbit competition, especially
now-
John Santo.
Now, does that count?
Not even looking at me.
Now, does that,
I'm hearing
now,
you.
listen,
I'm trying to share.
now, how does that
the
Fitbit
show?
work?
Everybody's looking for it on my Facebook.
How does that Fitbit work? When you walk and everything?
Yeah.
When you move your arms too?
No, I
Yeah.
don't do that. You have to walk.
That's not how.
Yeah, I don't cheat.
What about if you masturbate?
Don't worry about it. I don't know where it is.
How should I answer that? How
Is
can I
that how
answer
you
that?
get the extra calories?
If I say yes, it means that I've tried it. So
Well,
I would
I'm
say
just
I don't
saying.
know.
I don't know.
I don't know. Did you hear his question?
I'm not going near that.
Good boy. Good boy. Frankie. Frank and I did a wonderful show on Saturday night.
That's
We had a long ride. We went to New Jersey to work with a PBA, Montvale PBA, police officers and their wives and girlfriends raising money for a local family. We're going to hold off on that because Herm Armando, police officer Herm Armando, I don't know if he's a lieutenant or a sergeant. I should have asked him that on the phone. He's going to be calling in, and we're going to be talking a little bit about this wonderful night. Every year they do a comedy show, and they raise money for a local family, mostly, in need. And it was a cool night. Sandy Ellers did great. John Consoli closed the show.
New kid.
Like we created him. It's so funny.
It's like
Who was the new kid?
Ian Lara. Please,
Fantastic.
write down this
Good.
name.
Oh, my God.
This is a comic to watch. 27 years old. Funny. I'm going to call him a kid because we're old.
because we're old. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
he did a-
27.
I'm a kid to you. Yeah.
He did. Are you still here?
Nice kid.
He did a great job on the show, and we're going to use him again and again. I think.
And it was, you know what,
Yeah.
it was a different perspective of his comedy. You know, it was just.
Yeah, he was very witty.
You got a different
clean.
perspective because you're not used to getting laughs. When you're up
Yeah,
there
he was
leading.
funny.
Well, you know, I do a lot of shows with you, Pat. So I don't know what you're asking.
I don't think any comedians under 30 should be on your shows.
Any comedians under 30?
No, I had to wait till I was 30 to get on one of your shows.
How old is Steve
Nobody
Perillo?
should go on before me.
How old?
He's
30.
He's
Yes,
okay.
he is
He's all right?
Yeah, he's all right.
For
So
you
that-
in the audience that don't realize, Steve Perillo is actually here with
I
us.
told him. If you were listening,
He's standing
I told
behind
him.
us. You just can't see him. He's a vampire.
I told him. So we'll talk a little. We'll talk to Herm when he calls in. Talk a little bit about the show. I had a birthday party the other day. I brought the baby. I was
Happy
talking to this.
birthday.
Where did Oliva go?
You're 40.
It
What are you,
doesn't matter. He's
45?
off camera.
No, it wasn't my birthday. We went to a birthday party, and I brought the baby, and I'm writing a bit with Steve. It's funny how.
You're writing it at the birthday party.
No, I'm after the birthday
Oh,
party.
after the
We're
birthday.
writing.
He's not on.
That's not a dildo.
That's not a live mic.
Steve, that's
No,
a
it can be
microphone.
live. Bobby can
Put
turn
your
it on.
pants on and take that.
The audience can't see.
we
Steve
can't see
Oliva
Steve,
is
but
in a
he's-
very big, like a
tapping
studio
the-
mic
he's-
with a
Yeah.
with a crane structure.
I think talk. Say hello. Say
It's
hello.
on.
Hello?
Very
Hey.
good. Very
Hi,
good.
Steve.
So
Just
Steve,
keep talking
Pat,
into the
Pat,
mic.
your hair's messed up.
so
thank you.
we're writing this new bit about the baby. It's kind of funny. It's about how a baby who's so cute, and my grandson is cute. Everybody
all right.
he loves him. He's all right. You put up some nice presents, by the way. That
my
party. Yeah, that's why Pat has bounced off that gig and you're back on. Beautiful presents. Pat hasn't bought anything for the baby yet. So did you?
Frank sells a lot of real estate. I know.
No thanks.
How kids can lose it at that age so quick. And you'd like to get them out of an event while people are loving them before they lose it and turn into a total
problem
idiot.
child.
Sort of like
yeah,
what we have to do with you, John.
correct.
We have to get you
Correct.
out of the events before you lose it.
Patty, any shows over the weekend? Did you do anything wonderful?
No.
How are
did
the
nothing-
people
did
at
nothing
the?
wonderful.
How are the people?
Frank Viola.
You know, I'm noticing on Facebook. You went out to a lot of dinners this week. Didn't you
Yes,
go out a
yes.
few
What are you
times?
calling
I went.
fat?
I went to. Yes, I did. I actually spent a weekend with my girlfriend. I didn't do any shows, so I did the right thing. You know.
I did the right thing.
I went to Kwang Ming.
Kwang Ming.
Oh.
Went to this place, Joe and Nina's, a real nice restaurant in
Nice.
Huntington.
Give him a little
Is that
plug.
Brooklyn?
And it's in Huntington.
Good.
It's excellent,
The other
excellent,
Brooklyn.
excellent
The
food.
Brooklyn of Long Island, Huntington.
Excellent food, and
Good.
that's it. You know, I didn't do
No
anything.
shows.
No.
Good.
Mr.
Nice to have it down times.
Yeah.
No,
and-
not really. I rather do shows every weekend than go out
You'd
to
rather
dinner.
than hang out with your girlfriend. You'd rather be out.
After this, you will be.
Well, you are on next week at Friday night. Friday night. Bobby, can you put up the flyer for Friday's show in Carmel, New York? Steve,
Yes, sir.
and John Santo
Are we in Brewster or
Not next
Carmel?
Friday. This week.
this Friday.
Brewster.
Friday.
It's
3
a
days.
3
Brewster
days.
Ice Arena.
The flyers up there. We have Steve Oliva. That's his picture from the 1980s.
About 10 years ago.
1980s,
Yeah. John Santo
Yeah, you
and
look the
Maureen
same too, buddy.
Langen. We have
Yes.
she had a one-woman show. She still does. I used Maureen a lot years ago. She's in town again, and we were lucky to get her. It's going to be a great show. We're raising money
it.
for.
We were lucky to get Steve too.
Well, Steve is always he's always willing.
always
yeah,
around.
yeah.
Didn't sound
Thank you,
too
John.
good. You said you use
The Andrew McGardle, what is it, foundation? A scholarship fund.
Scholarship fund.
Andrew was a son of Phil McGardle, who I worked with in the FDNY, and died in a car accident about a year after 9/11. And they started this, they do a walk. They used to do a golf outing, and now they started doing a comedy show once a year. And we're bringing the heavy hitters, Oliva, Santo, Langen. MC for that night will be the very handsome, one of our favorite comics, Gianni LaRocchia, who's not even on the friggin' flyer.
Why didn't you put yourself on the?
I
you
just
make these
realized.
flyers up.
I just realized I'm not even on the
John,
flyer.
it's in the Ice Arena, actually.
It's
There's
in the
a-
ice
Yeah.
skating rink, so
Adjoining
dress warm.
restaurant.
I'll dress
warm.
Did you see what I wrote on my Facebook promoting that
I
show?
really don't look at any of your posts.
I know.
No, I'm kidding.
I wrote my beloved Laughter Saves Lives live co-stars.
Oh, you know, John.
You know, by the way, in case you're not aware, it is your sister Jane's
Co-star.
birthday on Friday.
Are you
We're
serious?
co-stars.
Yes. It's also would have been my brother's birthday. That's how I know that.
Oh, and it's my sister's birthday. What? She's just.
Oh, I know these things.
Yeah, you know these things. Okay. It is your sister's birthday. She just messaged you. Anything
She
going
does.
on? Social media guy. How come Frank is reading the social
Well,
media?
I'm reading it now.
Pat's,
Is there anything to offer before we move forward on
It's your
social
sister's
media?
birthday.
That's it?
Yes, and a bunch of people are on here. Say hello to. Say hello to.
No, not say hellos.
Oh,
I mean,
Linda,
anything
not
that-
Jane. It's Linda's birthday, not Jane's birthday. Apparently,
Oh.
Jane had to remind
Oh, that's
us
right.
that it was
May
Linda's
11th
birthday.
is Jane's birthday.
Oh, Ryan
Let's ask
Flynn.
my
That would have been
father.
my mother's birthday.
Yeah,
Let's
you
ask
should
my
know.
father.
Your
When is
father
your
should
daughter's
know.
birthday?
Right. I know who they are.
They're both born. Yeah, he doesn't know either.
He doesn't know.
Just to remind you, if you just tuned in, we have Giovanni LaRocchia in the audience, Pat G and Steve Perillo on the mic. The off-camera mic is Steve Oliva tonight.
And hello
Ken
again.
Hurley.
Hello again. He was in a boxing match again, and his face is really messed up, so we couldn't put him on camera again.
Like it wouldn't make a difference anyway, so it doesn't.
He looks
matter.
like Balboa after Rocky II.
Thanks very much.
So can you text?
Anybody
you
can throw a
text
punch.
our
It takes a
first
man
guest,
to take a punch.
do you have? Could you text him,
Do
please?
you have his number?
Yeah, right here.
So
And
my
just
week
tell
was
him-
good.
Just go ahead. Did we not do your week?
We
I'm
haven't-
sorry.
We haven't gone through the week yet.
I'm
have we?
sorry.
I know we haven't gone through the
No,
week
we kind of
yet.
did.
I was
we
just well, we not this side of
No,
the
because
table.
you're going to get back to your bathroom or something.
No, well,
He's
he's allowed to
still
talk about his
working on the bathroom.
I want to hear about how's the bathroom coming.
You know what? We're actually on hold because the shower doors were being.
It's always something.
It's always something with these contracts.
And there
They
goes,
don't
there goes the
measure
show.
right.
Woo! There he goes. Woo!
Oh look, we picked up 5 more views.
Oh wait a minute.
All contractors.
Weren't we not supposed to step on each other?
You would think.
No.
Didn't that the host,
Only one.
the president of
I
Atlantic
said,
State Live said that don't
I
step
went like
on
this. You guys don't step on anybody.
I also the episode of the TV show that I did.
Oh yeah. Talk about that.
Evil.
What is it?
Talk about
What?
Evil Knievel?
Evil Knievel he was on.
I never saw you laugh that hard.
Ah, easy,
wait,
Kind of
Frank.
look like Evil
Right.
Knievel.
Never seen him right over all those
What'd you look at your residual check?
It's yeah.
I had the Evil
It's
Knievel. You're right.
that was great. Great.
Good,
time.
good.
It's called Evil Speaks Chilling
Right.
Confessions. It's,
Right.
it's a new show.
Sounds like a
On what
bad
channel?
horror movie.
It'll be on Discovery ID.
Yeah, nobody's watching.
Next week.
Not yet.
Oh, that's next
And
week. You're
it's,
going to be on the biography channel for the Evil Knievel.
Text her and tell him call in.
Oh, that'll get rid
That'd
of
be
me.
social media. That would fall under social media.
That would
Yeah.
fall into
Hey,
social
So
media.
that'll be on 9 o'clock on Monday.
Just say call
Do you
in.
know what channel
What
that is?
channel again?
Yes.
What
It is
channel?
Investigation Discovery. If you
Yeah.
have Optimum, it's 171. If you have FiOS, it's.
I have whatever my neighbor has, so
And John, you could say it in your Bloomberg voice,
It's.
Bloomberg voice,
What? How did you get this role?
in Spaniel.
I got it through the backstage. I applied the backstage open casting calls, and I applied.
in the backstage?
Yeah.
I didn't
Good
know
luck.
they had acting in those magazines.
Not just
I apologize.
Not to be confused
I
with the Village
apologize.
Voice, Steve.
No, that's actually that's a
No, that's
a,
not Backdoor Magazine. It's
I am,
Backstage.
Oh,
Right.
that's actually that's a acting and it's a trade magazine
Yes.
for acting.
I am.
Been around for
it's
years.
a crime reenactment show, and I'm portraying Detective Cassidy from the Rochester Police Department.
Wow. Good job. We have all
finally
5
made
of us here
detective.
tonight.
Yes, I
all
finally made
5
detective.
people co-host. Steve is off camera, so we're going to try to get through this. Then you didn't talk about your week. You said.
No, I still have it.
Are you working on Frank's bathroom?
I am not working on Frank's
Okay,
bathroom.
what do
I
you
would
got?
love to, though. I'm pretty good. No,
Can you do the shower doors?
I can
Clearly-
do a shower curtain, but no.
Clearly, you came from just coaching the Mets farm team.
Yes. I actually signed.
Always
Are you-
How is
representing.
Tebow doing?
I
His
actually.
foot is hurt.
No, I signed
Tripped on the
a
sprinkler. Oliver
3-year,
Pimenta.
Yeah.
$5 million contract with Saturday Night Live,
Good man. It's about time, brother.
but it's not effective until they sign it, and they haven't done that in 2.5 years. So we'll see how that goes. That was.
Is that all you got?
No, I went to the doctor yesterday,
Yeah.
and I have a new doctor, and she read me the Riot Act. She basically said, "You got to lose a lot of weight."
Really?
Yeah, she said to me because I said that's the number. She goes, yeah. I go, the when was this glass calibrated? She goes, it's accurate. So I said, well, my pants weigh 20 pounds, and So she said you can make stupid jokes or you could lose weight. She's not
Good.
effing around.
And you know what?
She's
we
tough.
should all be doctors because we've
And
been
as a
telling
comic, I was like, shit, that bombed.
Listen, a year ago I had that heart attack. 7 stents. Lucky to be here.
She even said that. She goes, you want to
She
end up like your
mentioned
friend
me.
Frank?
It was
She
my
mentioned
fault.
me.
I was at the dinner with
Because
you.
I watched
right.
the show.
Hold on,
That's
guys.
Pat.
1 second. Herm, is that you?
Yeah, it's me. How you doing?
Good. You're on live. Just hold on and listen to our nonsense here for a second. We're just finishing up one segment. Stay with us, though, all right?
All right, no problem.
And don't do any cussing or anything because you are live.
Right.
Okay.
Not later.
So I don't know what was worse, hearing that I had to lose all that weight or that my joke bombed. So that was like a mixed emotion.
Right.
Well, you know what?
You're a
It's
comedian.
good. Sometimes we need that
We need that
reinforcement.
kick in the ass. And she said, I want to see you in a month, and in a month you're going to be down at least 5 pounds.
All right, so
pounds.
let's
So pound and a half.
I'll work with you. Let's do
Listen,
some walking. Let's
We got to
do some
get,
stuff.
we got to
Get the
We got to
Fitbit.
get the Fitbit. We got to play tennis and all that shit.
And
All right.
you can meet me at Crunch Gym in Belmore. I'm
Yes.
there in the
Yeah.
morning.
Frank
do,
works the men's room there.
I do. I work the men's room, also from the back door.
You know what she said that scared the shit out of me? And she's really good. We should have her on the
You
show.
got to pay the bill today.
But she said, because I had a list of things that will bother me.
Turn
right?
over. She said we don't take your insurance.
So I had like a list of questions to ask her and things that. So she goes, "You see that list?" She goes, "If you don't do what I'm telling you to do, in 20 years, that's going to be a list of medications you have to take."
Whoa,
She
she
was-
is good.
She's good. She kicked my ass.
Does she
8 ways to
take
Sunday.
All right.
GHI? Because I want to go to her. She's good.
Yeah, I'll give you a number.
I like
She
her.
only treats
Is she a
celebrities.
Really?
general
Yeah.
practitioner or a cardiologist? What is she?
She's a GP.
GP?
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen.
And it's good
Gentlemen.
'cause she's used to working with celebrities.
Okay, we have our first guest on the line. This is Herm Amato. Am I pronouncing that correctly, Herm?
How could you screw up a motto?
That's right, yeah.
I want to make sure I wrote it down right.
No,
You know
you're
how I
right. No,
spell.
you're right. You're right. I know.
How do you know?
Amato.
Montvale PBA. Yes, Herm?
That's it.
First of all, we want to thank you for having Laughter Saves Lives out there the other night. What you guys did was wonderful. Tell us what you do. How many years you've been doing this comedy show and what it's all about?
We actually been doing this comedy show for 19 years. Started a few years ago with our retired Lieutenant Bruce Pyatt. He started that up. It's been really successful every year. I've taken it over it for the past going on 6 years now. I just actually did my 5th year of running it. Myself and all the other officers in the PBA, everyone jumps in and helps out a lot. We do a pretty successful show every year. It's in a small little venue at the Elks Lodge. It always gets ripped on by all the comics, but
It's a decent sized room. That wasn't a terrible room.
And we pack the room. All the residents and local businesses come out. They support us, and it's a big hit every year. It's great.
Well, I said, and this year's show was for what?
This year's show was for actually one of our local residents. He actually had cancer, which unfortunately he passed away from that battle about 3 weeks ago. But he was a local resident. He was a coach in town. He was very involved with youth sports. One of our officers actually was one of his players when he was younger. So we've been going on calls to his house a lot within the past year. And the Officer Hawken was approached me and said, "Hey, how about we use him as a beneficiary this year? He's a real active guy in town, or used to be an active guy in town, was a coach in the youth leagues." And everyone was like, "Yeah, absolutely." Reached out to his family, to his wife and his kids, and they were all on board for it. So it worked out nice, and they actually showed up to the event, which doesn't always happen. But they came out, the 2 sons, Keith and Chris, I believe the other one's name is. But Keith was the one that was there and said some nice words. It worked out great.
No, you guys did a really, really nice job. And the whole premise of Laughter Saves Lives is that, we're all going to go through tragedies. There's a lot of things in our lives that happen. But if we could bring that family out who just lost their dad to a comedy night and give them a night where they can smile a little bit and laugh a little bit, that's a home run on top of the money you raised. So I hope we did that. I hope we did that for you guys. Gave you guys some laughs and helped you raise some money.
Definitely. And, again, just want to thank you guys. Thank you for Laughter Lives. You guys were great. Compliments for all the guests that came out. And it was the second time you guys performed for us, and it was great. You say you're bringing 2 or 3 guys, and you always show up with more comedians than you tell us. So
All right, don't get used to that. Don't get used to that.
Right, it's like
Don't get used
crack.
to
He
that.
sucks you and he gives you more than...
holding you to that.
Well, we appreciate being a part of it, Herm.
No, it's awesome. We appreciate having you guys, and especially that you guys are members of service or retired members of service. It's great to work hand in hand with each other.
Well, we appreciate you letting the fireman in the door.
I'm actually patching the food service.
Doesn't happen often.
No, it does not. So thanks for calling in. Hopefully we'll see you again in a future show. And stay safe out there. Before I let you go, your department, how big is your department out there?
We're a 25-man department.
25,
That's it, 25 man?
What's that?
That's it, 25-man department?
25-man department. We're one of 70 agencies in Bergen County, New Jersey. So
It's like a small
definitely
village.
in a smaller town, but we're actually considered a medium-sized department for our county.
Well, you guys did an awesome job bringing in all those people, man. That was great.
It was a great night. Thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, Herm, be safe out there.
And you want John Santo next year,
Thanks,
right?
guys, too.
Herm,
Here, you said yes. Right before he left.
I
Herm
missed
Model.
that. I missed that.
Let's hear. Oh, All right, guys. So yeah, it was an
And that was,
awesome. It was an awesome night.
Steve's joke bombed. That,
No, what was the joke? What was the joke?
No, he was saying how since we're all in the service, I go except for Pat, he's in the food service.
you're gonna say
Yeah,
it again. and
I
then
heed
you
it.
go-
I heard it
Come on,
before.
listen.
I heard it before. Just
Matt,
wanted to
listen,
bomb
folks.
again.
Sometimes a good joke gets stepped on, and that was the case there because that was a darn good
Everybody
joke.
here's a firefighter.
All right.
Except Pat. Holy shit.
Yeah, nice. Why don't you
But
bring
he's
it?
put out kitchen fires.
Hey Pat, go bring a toy to John's grandson. All right, next time you cheapo. Every 2-year-old kid wants a bag of meatballs for his birthday party. You know?
That would go over. You know what? He loves meatballs. He loves meatballs.
He's good.
So you know what we'll do now?
What are we gonna do?
You know, let's run our what time we got? Okay, let's run our
22.
Life Fact commercial now, and we'll have Dominique calling at 8:26, so it'll work out pretty good. So Life Fact, our sponsor. Thank you, Bobby.
When
Let's run
someone's
the Life
choking,
Fact
brain
commercial.
damage can occur after just 4 minutes. Did you know every 5 days a child dies because of a choking accident?
My name is Art Lee. I invented LifeVac to protect my family. LifeVac is an easy-to-use suction device with a special one-way valve to help save a choking victim.
I care for my dad who's prone to choking. Having LifeVac in my home gives me peace of mind.
Protect your family. Buy LifeVac now.
Thank you, Daddy.
Call 1-877-LifeVac or visit lifevac.net.
Yeah, you like Ed McMahon.
And we're back to Steve Oliva Live and off
but I was
camera.
Valley before that.
We're back. Our next guest who's going to be calling in a few minutes.
What is this?
Sarah Ann said, I heard you talk to Kevin.
Kevin who?
How the hell do I know? She's,
Oh, she said, I heard I
why
talked
do
to
you have-
Kevin?
yeah.
Why do you have Kohl's coupons?
Oh, I wanted to, you opened it up for me. I wanted to open up the Kohl's. Look at, I usually open it up at home. I get the, nobody else gets excited about Kohl's. Frank,
Only Rich
Rich
Walker.
Walker
Only
does.
Rich Walker.
I know,
does.
Rich
He scratches it off. Ah, shit, 15%.
let's get Steve Perillo. Can we just see, you want to get on camera for a
My
second?
sister got a wedding dress
Just
from
show your face. Just show your
They
face
want to
and
see.
your- and your hair.
They want to
World
see
famous.
Steve.
Steve Perillo, comic, stop by tonight. We always like to have the comics
2
take a
million
peek.
viewers.
Just kind of slowly come
right.
in.
Yeah, come in the
slowly
back
come
there.
in. Here he is.
Hey,
Steve Perillo.
Steve Perillo. Hey, how you doing?
Steve, you're on an upcoming show, Laughter Saves Live show, correct?
Yeah,
Thank God.
the something part.
I think in December.
Something Park.
In December, right?
Wait, hold on. He's plugging. He's plugging the show. He's plugging the show. The something Park show. Williston Park. You got it.
Oh, I was
Williston
on that
Park.
show last year. Nice Firehouse.
You were on that show. That was a
Nice
good show.
fire, yeah.
Good show.
Nice firehouse. We had
So,
fun there.
Steve, I'd always like to bring if somebody's in to guest me. Pat will be showing
But
his face
your
soon.
sister wants to
Giovanni.
see Giovanni.
Giovanni, show your face. Giovanni, show your face.
Right there, yeah.
Right there. Move out. Move out. That's good. You're right there. You're right there.
Right
Turn
there, turn
around.
around. It's over there.
Giovanni's
Hey!
All right,
Look at the
sit
little
down.
box.
And you're going to be on a
All right,
show.
one more. We
You're
have our
gonna be on a
guest
show
calling in.
too. St.
Patty,
Albans.
one more. Hurry up. Hurry up. We have we just showed our whole studio audience here. And Pat's here tonight. Pat is going to be co-producer of the show, and we're going to pay him squat.
And
All
he,
right.
will be, and he will be giving out
Thank you,
advice,
gentlemen.
medical advice at the diner later on.
When's my pay going up?
All right, you guys could. Yeah.
Kevin
That's on the
King.
27
Kevin
show
King.
in Williston
All
Park,
right.
right, Pat?
Kevin King.
If Kevin King.
Is this
all
as
right.
good here?
If everything
don't
works
know.
well here, Dominique will be calling in, so I'm going to give her a little setup.
60 seconds.
On March 28th, can you show the March 28th flyer, Bobby? March 28th, we're doing a special show. Steve Oliva is emceeing this show.
He
I
didn't
always
put the
put
new
Steve.
one up.
They got the old flyer though. Steve Oliva, that's my fault, Bobby, not yours. Pat Marone is on this show. John Santa was not. Frank is not. They did it last year.
That's his way of telling us we're not on the show.
Steve Oliva
Don't
is.
bother to come.
They just found out.
Steve Oliva is.
March 28th, we're working with the World Trade Center nurses, the cancer nurses from the World Trade Center program, who are taking care of all the guys who are ill from 9/11, suffering from 9/11 illness, cancer. They do a wonderful job. 4 charities we're supporting.
Wow.
One of them is the American Cancer Hope for Life or something like that. I don't know the exact name of that one. FDNY Foundation, the Ray Pfeiffer Foundation, and FDNY Family Transport. They're all doing a lot of work with these guys. We're really excited about the show.
We have
Anytime
a lot of great comics on the show.
the show is packed.
Packed. So if
Peaches
you're
Rodriguez.
So let me just say something.
yeah.
So if you're a city comic
Uh-oh.
and you're coming down,
You're gonna
do
lose-
not come to the show expecting stage time. You will get none.
You come to
I'm
support the
saying
show.
no to you now. You're not on the show.
You come to support
You
the
come
show.
to support. You sit in the audience.
Not to ask for
Not
stage
to ask
time.
for stage time. Why do we do the show and 80 people show up? No, you're not on the show. You don't come to the show.
John
He's got an
does-
awesome
Hey,
line.
John,
John does
this
all
is-
the public relations
John,
for
this
Laughter
is
Saves
supposed to be
Lives.
a
I'm the
happy
no
show.
man.
This is supposed to be a happy show.
It is a great show. Now he can be the nice guy.
Now you,
So,
you don't have
so
to be
anyway-
disciplining all the comics.
Can I
now.
get on the show? No. Go ahead.
so anyway, we have Miss Dominique will be calling in
Is that her cue?
any second. She is one of the oncology nurses down there, and she spearheaded the organization called Fired Up Against Cancer.
Do I have to text
Fired Up being fire department, and they're not a foundation or a charity. They raise money for different organizations. They had an event this past weekend. I couldn't make it because we had the show in
Montvale.
Montvale with Herm, and it would have been too much for me in one day. I needed a nap.
John, did you hear
Steve?
there was a big fight at Chuck E. Cheese the other day?
Huge fight.
Yeah, like 10 people got arrested, I heard.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fights at Chuck E. Cheese.
No, there's a lot of fights. Out in Long Island, bail was set at 500 tokens.
One more thing
you
about
right?
the nose. There were some comedians that come to your shows that ask me, what's the that saves lives? If you don't know, you shouldn't be on the show, so no.
You are making all kinds of friends right now.
You're very angry this week.
Really?
Did you, listen, your doctor really got to you, huh?
It was my, what's the vaginal doctor?
Your gynecologist.
Gynecologist.
Hold on.
John, when you lose weight, you can't talk like that.
No, I think that's your gastroenterologist.
Hold on. He just asked, what's the vaginal doctor called? I don't know if you heard that. It needed repeating. Steve, what is the vaginal doctor called?
Gynecologist.
That's called a Procter & Gamble-ologist. I don't know.
that didn't go over.
By the way, I just saved you about 80,
that didn't go over.
uncomfortable
You're right.
conversations on March 28th.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
did.
that joke
You
bombed.
probably-
I
you're
admit
You're
it.
like the men's cleanup here.
And you
Oh,
probably
for
look.
two.
Yes, he's doing
Way
great
to
over
bring
there.
down the show,
While
Steve.
we're waiting for
I got to
Dominique.
ask the question.
Do I have to text her?
Yeah, no, she
Inappropriate.
wouldn't give me her cell just like
I
most
should
women.
be public relations for that. I'd be very good at that.
Can I just read you a beautiful story?
Yes,
A
yes.
beautiful story.
Yeah, we'd like
While
to
we're
get
waiting for
this done.
Dominique. Can I read you a beautiful story?
You can read it.
Do you ever look at what a bride is wearing and just say, oh, it's a
Imagine
beautiful
her
dress?
naked?
Well, listen to this
Say
beautiful
how much
story.
that piece of shit cost.
Amber Young. Are you listening to me?
I am Amber Young.
Was from Arizona, southern Arizona, was wearing a open back dress for her wedding.
Nice.
Okay,
When
very
she
nice.
was handcuffed and put into a police cruiser Monday in about 30 miles north of Tucson. Police said a bride was arrested on suspicion of impaired driving as she was involved in a car crash on the way to her wedding.
She was
Is that a
driving to her
beautiful-
own wedding?
She was
Yeah,
driving.
top of the line wedding that was, huh?
Wait, I don't get it.
Well, she spent all the money on the dress. She didn't have money
She
for
was
Uber.
dressed in her beautiful gown,
Right.
driving to her wedding intoxicated and got into an accident.
Why is she driving to her own wedding?
Yeah.
Why
It's
is
Arizona.
she
Hold on.
intoxicated?
You know,
Where was it?
this was in Arizona, you know.
Oh, you got a lot of trailer trash
Yeah.
out in the outskirts.
If you have to be
Sorry
drunk
to
get
our
married-
Arizona fans.
So
for
she
that,
was
but,
driving to her own wedding.
I mean, Phoenix is okay, but after that, it gets a little trailer trash.
Now,
So she,
now,
she never got the Arby's for the reception?
No, but the Steve is on fire tonight. But Scott tweeted, this is the cop now, tweeted this. Don't drive impaired. Till death do we part. Doesn't need any help. Was that beautiful that the cop?
That's beautiful.
That's beautiful because
I find it interesting that she got
Was he the one that
arrested.
married her?
I was just going to say, was that the husband?
I don't know if she made the wedding. So
John,
so
I
far,
find it interesting
So
that
that used for advice. What was that for?
she got arrested, but the husband's going to be in jail for the next 40 years.
All right, so we have an interesting. We have Dominique has not called in yet. Maybe she didn't turn her clock back. What are you cutting Steve off? Like
Set the clock ahead.
Set the clock ahead. Oh, that maybe she set it back. Maybe
We
that's
should
the
have
problem.
talked about that for 20 minutes. About the
So why don't we text Jim DeLakis? And
You're going to bring him in now?
we'll bring him in now, and if Dominique calls, she'll have to hold for a while.
All right.
All right. So let's text Jim DeLakis.
Jim Danakis. Yeah, Jim
You want me to do my
Danakis. Yeah,
segment
Jim
while waiting on
Danakis.
Jim?
Oh, wait a second.
What?
Mr. Sample has
Military.
brought another segment with him this week. By the way, your segment last week on Air Force One, rave reviews.
Thank you.
Right. But
I loved it. My father didn't watch it. I loved it. It was awesome.
I thought it was
Pat
terrific.
liked
I
it.
thought it was terrific.
Steve didn't watch it. Steve liked
I
it.
loved it.
I loved
You
it.
would have loved it if you saw it.
Because no one I know.
Steve, in fact, has never even watched a show of ours.
What's left to save lives?
I don't know.
What's left to save lives, says Steve?
Oh, that pisses me off when people say that.
All right, you have, you know.
I know, I got to
chill.
calm
You
down.
gotta-
I got to calm down.
That's all part of it.
John,
That's
we're going
all
to
part
fire
of your
that
health.
doctor.
The
John, we
stress.
want
Do I call him Jim
John, we
Donakis?
want a doctor
Yeah,
that's going
Donakis.
to tell you everything is fine. You're fine. That other
Tell
doctor
them to
really
call
got
it.
you in a bad mood.
Tell them to call
I'm gonna
in
talk to you after the
5
show.
minutes. All right, so tell us about your segment today.
So last week I did a little piece on Air Force One.
Little
piece. This week I'm doing a piece on the nuclear triad, which a lot of people don't understand what the nuclear triad does.
And this is very comical.
No, not Air Force One.
This is comedy at its best.
At its best, right. So the reason why, Bobby, can you put up the graphic with
He's
the
got
briefcase?
graphics?
Oh, yeah, I got everything.
Graphics and everything.
Holy,
Now the other one with the briefcase.
Yeah, hopefully it's better than that one.
There we go.
Oh.
So this is the procedure that the president follows when deploying a nuclear weapon.
Oh, okay, so this is the
This
football.
is the football.
This is the football.
So it's
Picture
in,
of Twitter?
so it's in a hardened case.
Why do they call the suitcase the football?
That's
Do
the
you know?
code name for the suitcase.
Oh, it wasn't because he's always carrying football.
Well, like carrying
how
a
it
football.
started.
So there's a military aide. There's one of each service: Coast Guard, Air Force, Navy, Marines, Army, and it's usually a lieutenant commander, major, or lieutenant colonel commander, and they carry. That's a military aide, emergency war aide.
Or
that
this is an
accompanies the
inside
president.
joke.
What?
Or a firefighter on light duty,
No,
right? Could carry
on light duty. No, it actually weighs a lot. So it wouldn't be light duty if you have a hernia and you don't want to carry that. It's like a 50-pound case.
Who's the first president to have?
So this briefcase started because people like myself,
right,
that do presidential impressions, were so good that we could over the phone replicate the president's voice and order a nuclear attack. So this whole procedure was started because of people like me that could easily do like a Clinton and Obama or whatever. So there's a series of codes in the authentication procedure.
Hold on
that the
1 second.
president-
Let's just put them on hold.
Yeah.
I want to
went
finish.
on Facebook.
You're live. Laughter saves lives. Who's calling?
Are you talking to me?
Yes.
Whoever the caller is.
Is that Jim?
Yes, Mr. De Niro.
This
We're
is
talking to
he.
you.
Who is it?
It's Jim Delacus. You remember Jim Delacus, Australian
We love
comedian,
Jim Delacus.
comes from America.
Jim, you want to continue this after Jim, or you want to continue this now? We'll keep Jim on hold.
I think we should. I'm not
All right,
going to interrupt Jim Delacus.
Okay, so yeah, nobody keeps
We'll
Jim
do a part
Delacus in
two
the
after
corner.
the show.
We got two impressionists on.
Jim Delacus, number one of Laughter Saves Lives' favorite comedians. Put time aside tonight to call in, ladies and gentlemen, ladies, Jim Delacus.
Jim Delacus.
Thank you very much. Please be seated. Oh, hang on, you are.
One of the top comics in the country, according to Jim Delacus.
And me.
Mr. Jim.
Yes.
Tell him a little bit about your background, where you grew up.
I grew up in a really beautiful city called Perth. You guys say Perth. Or in some parts of New York, Point. Or this one guy I remember used to call it Pert, which is a shampoo. But anyway, it's a beautiful city on the west coast of Australia, and the weather is very California-like. It's very, it'll never snow there. It does get cold, and I remember once, a few times, the temperature got so low that there was frost on the grass, and everyone freaked out. Like, did you see the frost on the grass? That's amazing! And after having lived in New York in the Northeast and traveled to Canada, I looked at these people and just said, "You don't know the half of it."
Now,
it's a beautiful place.
You came to the United States at what age for the first time?
The first time I was 18, 19, and I was here to study acting at the East Roxburgh Institute. I was invited to the actor studio, and holy crap, you don't say no to that. And I hung out for a little while, and I came back when I was 22 to study religiously. And then I had an actress friend who, she was Irish, she still is. And she said,
I thought it was Salma
she
Hayek.
said to me, you should try some stand-up comedy. You're so funny. You make me laugh all the time. And she said, let's go to an open mic night. And I said, what's an open mic night? Is that like they crack open a mic? What happens? And so I said, listen, I'm an actor. We don't do that. They don't make enough money. And she goes, neither do we. Let's go. So off I went, and it felt great. I got on stage for the first time, and I even remember the first thing I ever said was, "This is my first time doing this, so please don't throw anything."
Hold on, I'm going to write
so
that
that-
down. I need that. Hold on. I'll write that line down. So now, what about you? What about you with what my father's phone is ringing? Look at this.
Hey, Jim, I'm off camera, but Steve Oliva, do you know, Jim, you studied at the prestigious Lee Strasberg Institute, but do you know that Frank Fiala got a one-liner on the investigative channel next week?
And I didn't even have to go to
And
all
he's
that.
not bragging, but that's not exactly Lee Strasberg material, but it's something, right?
No,
Wow,
no,
that's
it's
fantastic.
certainly not.
I'm very happy. What show is it?
It's
Or is it?
Evil Speaks Chilling Confessions.
Evil Knievel.
Oh, that's awesome.
Hey, Jim, let's get down to business. What can he expect from his residuals? Let's talk cash.
Well, I'm not in the union, so there will be no residuals.
Oh, okay.
That's exactly what they'll be.
So you
Nada, zero, zippo. You will not get anything.
Now, Jim, you also have, like I do, a love of aviation, and I guess you came into that because you constantly fly around the world doing shows and going back and forth to your home in Australia, your home state.
Yeah.
So, what was a nice airplane ride that you took recently where he did a movie with the whole flight and how he was? Can you talk about that, Jim? How you made that film in flight where the flight attendant
All right,
was with the
it's
water?
taken so long.
Yeah, that made. Oh my God, that was hilarious.
Yeah, that was on Asiana, which is a wonderful airline. It's a South Korean airline, and they're just, I cannot believe how polite these people are. You'd think they were from New Jersey. But it was fun. It was fun doing that. And like John, I mean, I do have a lot of aviation. I'm the person who sits by the window because to me that's like the window to heaven. I mean, I love looking out that window, and I'm still, when it takes off, I almost cry because I'm so excited. I'm like a little kid, and I want to turn to everybody and go, "We're flying!" That probably kicked me off, but that's how I feel about it because it's still a miracle.
Yeah.
Especially,
Now the service
like
thing.
I don't know which airline, which aircraft you like the most, John, but I used to love the 777. It's a little loud, but I
love the
still love it.
777, yeah.
I think you told me it's the safest airline with the best record.
Yep.
I love the A380, but I've recently been flying with the 787, and that thing is amazing.
Now, I will be honest with you. I'm not a big fan of twins over the Pacific. I like twins over the twins over the Atlantic, but
I like twins anytime.
I like 4-engine aircraft over the Pacific.
That was Groucho Marx. That was my Groucho Marx.
I think that was very good.
Yeah,
That
no
was very
stepping
good.
on people tonight, John.
Yeah, so I like the. I mean, when when you're on a twin engine over the Pacific, you have to be within 180 minutes of an airport, and there's just, I mean, the Pacific is a lot bigger than the Atlantic, and I just feel like that the 4-engine airplanes, like the 380 that Jim mentioned, the 340 and the 747, that's the plane you want to be on in the Pacific.
You guys are losing me a little with the type of planes, but.
Well, just picture 2 engines on the plane.
No, I get you. I fly a lot also, and I'm very fond of peanuts. I fly a lot also, but
The cartoon or the food?
both. But let me ask you guys this, Mr. Flyers. What is the minimum and maximum amount of pilots you have in that cockpit? And I always said this, and tell me, Jim, what you think about this. Why can't they develop something that if there is somebody in the back of the plane who's causing disruption, hijack, whatever, they can't put everybody to sleep in the back of the plane? Knock everybody out.
They
Flight
do.
attendants,
Like Batman
everybody.
used to do in the poison gas.
Why would that be a problem?
Because you got people
go
with
ahead,
medical
John.
problems, and
Yeah.
that's a whole engineering thing that
Well, you're not going to do it all the time.
accomplish
But
that.
it's
You'd have to fill that whole cabin with poisonous gas.
not poisonous
Well, it would be
gas.
some kind of poison if they're knocking them out. It's like a giant anesthesia tube at that point.
And why does the
Also have kids.
And people have different weights. I mean, the kids would die because they're under the weight.
Children are too small.
Well, Jim, what do you think about what do you think of when that pilot leaves the cockpit to go to the men's room?
Well, I don't want to have a pilot that's busting to go. I'd like him to be concentrating on one thing.
Focused on the landing.
It's either that or pull over somewhere.
How about have their own bathroom?
Because the engineering.
I don't know if it would
big.
fit in there, and
I know, but I'm
I
saying.
mean, in an emergency, they have something called the bladder buddy, and
They do?
It's a red, like a gas can.
Right.
I
type
use that. I
thing.
use that when I'm driving. It's
And
called a
you pee on-
Gatorade
It's a
bottle.
Gatorade bottle.
Basically, that's kind of what it is. It's called a bladder. I call it the bladder buddy.
Yeah. So,
Well, it's
all
just
right.
like-
So, Jim,
it's like
you
kinda
came
like
over to the
when-
United States.
You know, when they dump fuel because there's too much fuel and there's an emergency landing, that's
Yeah.
what they do to their bladders. They just
Same
go,
thing.
we've got a problem. It's not a big deal. We're going to have to release some urine. And off they go.
But
It's not a big deal.
In that video that Jim did, which was hilarious, if you didn't see it, the flight attendant is ignoring him, and I'm like, you have a major celebrity like Jim DeLucas in the first class cabin.
They don't look at it that
They
way.
should go right to him.
Right, they look at it as-
Why are they serving other people? Right to him.
Jim, so how about you come over to the United States? What is the first thing in the United States that you said, wow, this is wonderful, this is great, I love it?
When I did my first gig with John LaRocchia.
Good point.
Now, you know that's blatant lying. I guess growing up in Australia, I was obsessed with America, and we used to get so many American shows mixed with the Australian shows that we had. But I was always attracted to anything American. All my friends would watch these shows called The Goodies, and they would talk about it at school all the time. Like, oh, did you see The Goodies last night, mate? It was so funny. And I'd be talking, I'd feel left out. And then there was another show that was
Wait,
on,
hold
I
on,
can't even
Jim.
remember, but that was a British show and an Australian show.
Goodies.
And
Goodies,
I felt
Goody
left
Yum
out, and I said, I should watch these shows so I know what they're talking about. And they told me, I said, what time are they on? And they said, Goodies is on at 5 o'clock, and then you got the other one, which was at some time. And I thought to myself, no way, there's no way I'm giving up Gilligan's Island, I Dream of Jeannie, and Bugs Bunny for that crap. So I was obsessed. So when I came to America, we were landing in Hawaii, so everything was, everything to me was a connection to television. So when we were landing in Hawaii, I looked out the window and I just thought, wow, that's where Magnum P.I. does all his business.
And 5-0.
That's where Jack Lord is. And
Jack
then when we
Lord.
landed in L.A., it was like, so this is where the Brady Bunch live. So,
was
and
3
even
episodes.
when I was driving to gigs, when I first got here, I didn't really care about making money. I just wanted to work on my craft and discover America. And I thought, what better way to do it than in a old bomb Toyota Camry from God knows what year with an oil leak. And I just went across the country. And when I'd get to the signs that would say, "Welcome to Toledo," I'd think, so this is where Klinger from MASH comes from.
Hey, Jim,
Or
I'm with you,
Indiana.
brother.
So this is David Letterman's birthplace. Yeah, everything was either movie related or television related. Kind of like that movie Being There.
Hey, Jim. That's awesome that you mentioned that because I do the same thing, except I bring the soundtrack wherever I go. So if I'm in like San Diego, I bring the Top Gun soundtrack. Miami, I bring the Miami Vice.
Anything good going on there?
So DeLucas is a great movie, a great patron of the movie Bufferage.
Those are great things to reference when you're flying. When I flew over Chicago, I said that's where Lona booted JJ in the ass for being a wise ass that day. Same thing.
Jim, you also dated Salma Hayek for a little while, didn't you?
I did what? I'm sorry?
You dated Salma Hayek for a period of time?
Yes, I did for a little bit, and then unfortunately, I mean, we're still friends, but now I'm with Gal Gadot, or I think I'm supposed to say Gal Gadot. I think that's how I say it. She gets angry.
She's a
if I don't
wonderful
say it
woman.
correctly.
Wonderful.
Sorry, Gal Gadot.
Jim, what was that highway we talked about? I actually looked it up last time we spoke. The famous non-paved highway in Australia that you mentioned. It's
the gun barrel with all
the
the
gun
with all
barrel.
the-
Right. I looked it up. Pretty scary looking.
Why is it not paved?
Yeah, why isn't it paved?
It's not paved.
Why?
Because you really shouldn't go through there.
Oh,
but because we're comedians and we wanted an adventure and we're stupid, we decided we'd do that. And it was, let me tell you, it was an adventure. We stopped at one point and we got out of the car and we were told don't go too far because if you walk like 20 meters, then you may end up getting lost because it's crazy.
Brush.
And
It's like crocodile
the silence was deafening. You couldn't hear anything. There's just nothing there. And the reason they don't pave it is because the U.S. military and the Australian military, they test missiles and bombs and all sorts of stuff there. That's why it's called gun barrel, because you see bits of leftover.
Oh, okay. That's where it comes
Yeah.
from. All right.
Jim, we didn't want to interrupt you, but there's a pause for a punchline that Steve would like to deliver.
Yes,
About the
please.
silence. You were about to deliver
Oh,
a
listen,
Pat Marone
listen.
punchline, I think.
No one wants to hear that. No one. But no.
You want to hear Steve Baum again? That's all right.
Come on, listen.
Well, you're on camera. We were on camera sitting in
Oh, I'm
there.
sorry.
Every time you go to the men's room, we see you on camera.
That black box
Never
is
be
the
sorry.
camera.
We're happy to see you on the show. Show your face again.
One more time. Come on out here.
Come on, come on.
brighter than usual?
Come on, no,
Jim-
go on again.
I don't want it. I don't want
Hey, Jim,
The
my
black box. The black box. There you go.
it. I see you, kid.
Black box.
Jim, my dad is here tonight.
Hey, Mr. LaRocchia.
How you doing, Jim?
I'm doing very fine. You raised a fine boy.
He only has one son, Jim.
I have no idea. Who's your
Well, that's it. You raised a fine boy.
Jim, what is your latest role that you just had on your latest role that you just played?
It was I played a real live agent, Agent Block, who was a special agent in the FBI, and it was on a Crime to Remember, which you can see on demand at the moment on Discovery ID. It was a true story that happened in 1968, where a young girl named Barbara Mackel was buried alive for ransom, and the detectives had to find her before she ran out of oxygen and died. And I played the detective who desperately tries to find her and and hopefully rescues her. But it was an absolute blast. It was good to play a good guy because I've been playing some bad guys lately.
Jim, do you have to change your dialect a lot when you do these roles? Is there?
Sure. Sometimes I have to sound like I'm from here, and sometimes I got to sound like I'm more from New York. Sometimes I got to sound, well, I'm from Britain because I do a lot of British roles.
Very good.
And so I do. It's something I've done since I was a kid. It's just like I'm a parrot.
Yeah.
If someone has a distinct, like I love to do impressions of John when he's telling me how much time he wants me to do. Oh, you don't have to do too long. Just do like 40 minutes.
He did that on video. You know what? It doesn't. To me, it doesn't sound anything like me. To everybody else,
To me, it doesn't sound anything like me.
Mr. Delacus, one of my favorite comics and impressionists.
He's my
And John
It's
does them too.
amazing.
John's
Where-
brilliant.
Where are you?
Oh, shit.
Where are you working the next few weeks, Mr. Jim?
Let's see. I am going to this weekend. I've got. I'm in Cape May doing a fundraiser for a big firehouse down there, and then I've got a corporate event on Saturday. But on April 14th, I'm in Syracuse at the Palace Theater, and that's going to be a blast. Because the guy that invited me to America and sponsored me for the first few years, and let me use his club, Bruno Schripper. He's going to be there producing, and I'll be performing with Joey Cola. And at the moment, we're fighting each other. We love each other, but
That's a long show.
I don't want to follow him and vice versa. So we may have to do
There
it
is somebody
together
else on that
at the
show,
same
right?
time.
Isn't there somebody else on that show also?
Somewhere local. There is.
All right, I saw the name. I just thought I'd give him a little plug. Yeah.
I occasionally do spots there at Dangerfields, and I'm going to be at McGuire's on June 1st.
All right.
It's kind of way down there, but
Laughter Saves Lives followers, if you're watching this live or you're going to watch it on delay, if you want a real treat, go out and see Jim Delacus. You'll laugh from beginning to end.
Watch his
High
videos.
energy, funny man, and a good guy.
Yes.
thank you so
Great
much.
guy,
You
hilarious.
guys rock.
And his
I love
videos
it.
are
You know,
awesome.
when I first came to New York, everyone said to me, you got to be careful because New Yorkers are mean and the industry's full of backstabbers, and all I got were beautiful people like yourselves, and I couldn't be happier. And I love New York because you stabbed me in the front.
That's right.
It's beautiful.
Jim, thank you so much for taking the time tonight.
Good talking to you, Jim.
You kind of saved us here because I know you were a last-minute fill-in, and we really appreciate it.
Oh, anytime, man. Anything for you, mate. Anything.
Thank you, Jim.
We gotta get him in the studio.
Thank you,
We'll
Jim.
get him in studio.
Yes, we'll get you in studio.
When he comes
Great
in in
talking
June,
to you,
we'll have
brother.
Thanks,
him in June.
You too, buddy.
Jim.
Bye.
Have a good night.
You too.
Take care, Jim.
So
That was fantastic.
he's very funny. He's very witty, but his impressions, he blends it in nicely. He doesn't do all impressions. He does some comedy.
Not like
and
John,
It's
right?
phenomenal.
It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
Is that what you were trying to say? Not like John?
No, no. John does a nice job. There's not a show as a producer, as somebody who produces a show. Okay, you can keep laughing if you want. As someone who produces,
I'd like to see how it is.
Let him talk.
you wonder why you're not on any shows. As someone who produces the shows,
You're not used to getting as much
acts
laugh.
like John, you can sit back and go, they're gonna love this guy for the next half hour. Like, when you produce a show, it's hard putting a show together. You see the agony I go through. Should I use this one? I want to mix it. Maybe I get too involved. Maybe
you
I get.
you give yourself too much agony.
I do.
John, they
You
love
micromanage too much,
Pat
you
for
second guess yourself.
they love Pat for a half hour, the 10 minutes of his act, and the 20 minutes when he leaves.
Yeah.
The only thing I would
That's another
say
good one.
Yeah.
is that you can put a guy on a show
Right.
less than 50 years after he did it before one time.
Well, my dig that people dig me for is I do a lot of shows every year, Firehouse shows every year, and I haven't put people on the same show for 7 years, which is ridiculous. But there are some comics like a Keith Anthony who write a lot, who you could put on like maybe 2 years later.
Right.
There are also acts like a Jim Delakis who people want to see again.
Right.
They even though they know what's coming. I used to work with John
Basically what he
Peasy.
said to you, John.
Right, I can't-
You need to write more, and nobody wants to
Nobody
see
wants to see me. So I'm on the 7-year plan.
Excuse me. I thought I did not say
That was the worst
that.
encouragement I've ever heard in my life.
I did not. I meant that, but I didn't say that. I was trying to.
All right, I'm just going to wait the 7 years. That's a statute of
Let
limitation.
me say
Yeah, I
something.
think the Jets just signed Teddy Bridgewater.
We're going right into the sports section. And talking
I'm not
about
against that. I think they should sign Bridges.
well, talking about sports. Now we're getting back on sports. It's like this is my type
anybody
of show.
watch
Very
OJ
ADD.
last night?
Very ADD.
No, I shut that
Watch
off.
what?
The OJ thing?
The OJ.
I didn't watch
please,
that.
He fucking did it. My God.
Oh, what I didn't.
Allegedly.
Hold on. Hold on.
Lawyers told us to say
Wait,
allegedly.
hold on.
It was the, what was it, the one-on
Listen
man
to
from
me.
The Fugitive?
Listen to me. Now that you're on this,
You find
okay?
this man.
Listen to me.
He
Clearly,
killed my wife.
and there are a few people who greeted me on Facebook.
What?
You know,
What? Tell us your story.
I was out in L.A. I
Okay.
told you this a few months.
When did you
I
tell
read,
me?
I read your
months-
comment. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, a few months ago,
All right.
and we had dinner with the instructors, and they invited some local friends. Blah blah blah.
Right.
And this person worked on the OJ case.
Okay.
And she said, I shouldn't even say she, I should have kept that. She said it's a known fact that OJ's son did it.
OJ's son
It
did
is
it?
a known fact.
Really?
Known to
Yes.
everybody.
Well, wait a minute.
And the reason he went on the Bronco chase to give his son time to
get
get out
away?
of town.
And where did the
Yes.
son
Well,
go?
wait a minute. Now, Christopher Dodd was
And
on the
people
show
agreed.
last night. Dodd,
interesting.
the prosecutor, was
Yeah.
on last night saying he was guilty of sin.
Yeah. See, I
And an
Wait,
FBI
I wanna hear more
profile
about
was on
this.
the
So
show.
where did the son
look
go?
it up when you do some research
I want you to
on this.
tell me right now.
Well, no, that's all she that she said that
I
night.
heard that it was the son.
I was on the other end of the table.
His
And
son was like
afterwards-
9 years
Do you
old
know
at
where
the
the
time.
son went?
Man, wasn't the kid
No,
like 9
no.
years old?
He
What are you doing with a slingshot? And a bow and arrow? The kid was 9 years old. What, he got away with a big wheel?
He was not. He was not. Look it up though, because there
it
were
was
many
him.
people.
I'm
not saying. I'm
I think
not
he was
saying.
6.
I'm not saying that this is what happened. What I'm saying is.
Yeah, no
this is
wonder the
what
glove
she
didn't
said.
fit. It was for a 3-year-old.
And they said he had the same size shoes and gloves as his father anyway.
Yeah, every 9-year-old
That's
kid.
why wait a minute. With the
Every
glove.
9-year-old kid wears Bruno Magli shoes.
It was pretty wacky. He talks about the thing.
How do we get on
Like-
OJ? How do we get on
Oh, he
OJ?
just
You
changed
just said
the
he
subject
wasn't.
'cause you were
You just said he
said
wasn't
that the son did
guilty.
Look.
I know Mark Furman
made
did
me
it.
Oh yeah, we got to do the football.
It made me think of it because you talked about it on Facebook. That's what made me think.
Oh.
Yeah, because I found it interesting that other people agreed with that. That's why I never mentioned it.
It was also a good way
to
to get off from you
Bobby,
insulting
we going
John
to the
Santo for
hour?
the past 10 minutes.
Okay, let's continue. I'm sorry, John.
All right,
That's
so
Bobby behind the
Let's go
glass.
back to the football
Can
here.
you bring up the briefcase graphic
Yes.
real quick?
Oh, the
Bobby?
briefcase graphic he wants.
Oh, you don't want to look at our face anymore.
I
So
actually
there's-
heard Gary Coleman whack JFK, by the way.
That son of a bitch. He was short enough to sneak up behind the grassy
Now
knoll.
look at now you're showing your age. You couldn't have showed somebody that was in their 20s. Half our audience doesn't know who Gary Coleman is.
What you talking about?
Excuse me. Everybody knows. who
Half
Gary
our audience
Coleman
don't
is.
know who you are either.
Hey, half our audience is 99.
Well,
No
we're doing-
offense.
actually, we're improving in that
A few
demographic.
weeks ago, they won't know
demographics
who you are
improving.
either. You know.
Our 8 people.
Can you tell, ask Bobby to bring
Of
up
the
the
8
brief?
people, they knew who Gary Coleman is, not JFK.
And
Go ahead.
and
Listen,
3
I
of them
went
are
through
off.
mentally. I went
We're
through a
not
lot
gonna
of
get to this
references.
tonight.
No, we got it. We got it. Go ahead.
Can
Let-
we, Bobby, can you bring up that briefcase graphic
briefcase.
again?
Good,
please?
start talking about it.
So the president has a case, and you open up that case in the event of a nuclear attack or nuclear strike. And there's something called a biscuit. It's a card, and there's a bunch of numbers on the card. Only one number is the president's. They'll say my ID is 4th from the top. They'll key it in under the 2-man rule. Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense would have to can't veto it. The president has sole authority over nuclear weapons release. But
They can't veto it?
Cannot veto it. The launch. They just have to confirm it with the two-man rule, a 2-person rule, and then the birds go. So, but there's a variety of strike options that are at the president's disposal. One is, let's say that there's a Russian attack on the continental United States, and they're trying to take out our land or sea-based assets. Bobby, can you bring up the other graphic with the different? So this is the triad basically.
Okay.
And the Minuteman missiles are land-based ICBMs. They're fixed. So everyone asks me, John, why do we have so many nuclear weapons when we could destroy the world 3 times over? The reason is because if those ICBMs or manned strategic bombers at the bottom are caught on the ground, then we lose our nuclear retaliatory capability. And without that deterrent, there's nothing for the enemy to not choose.
Do we know where they're kept, or is that a big? Is that a secret?
No, it's well known where they're kept, but the precise locations of the silos in the 80s weren't easy to target. Now with GPS, they're much more accurate. So a direct hit on like a Mount Weather, which is a nuclear evacuation site for the president and cabinet and Congress, would take out that that leadership chain, as well as we also have other underground nuclear bunkers in NORAD and under the White House and scattered. There were delis that in the Washington D.C. area and all around the country that look like a normal business, and then you open the freezer and you go in the back, and then you go down to a silo and there's a top secret underground
really?
bunker. And the reason why you would do that is because how would the Russians know to target all of those things? They wouldn't. So that's why it's a hide in plain sight type of scenario.
I mean, I just
so we
wanna
also have the.
He's got a gem coming.
So we also have the submarines, which are. We have about 20 Ohio-class submarines, each with about 120 nuclear warheads. Each one of those submarines is its own nuclear power. So that's why they say the 3 most powerful people in the world are the president, the premier of the Soviet Union, and the captain of a nuclear submarine.
20 of those?
There's about 20 of those.
Spread out around the world?
Spread out around the world. They're stealthy. No one knows where they are. So if a sudden massive attack were to occur, the beauty of the triad, it's triad because there's 3 different delivery systems: bombers, land-based missiles, sub-based missiles. The strength, the weakness of any one system is the mere existence of the other 2. So if all the land-based missiles get wiped out, if all the submarines get sank, you still have to deal with the bombers. If the bombers get caught on the ground, and the missiles get caught on the ground, you have to contend with the subs.
Now,
Would they call that redundancy?
They call that redundancy.
Redundancy.
Very good, Steve.
I don't think so, but
Do the subs have to surface to fire?
So the subs don't have to service; they have to go to 150 feet. Is launch step 150 or 50? I forget.
How
but
does
they
he know?
they don't
They
have to
break the
surface.
surface.
They don't have to break the surface.
he's
but
so knowledgeable about this stuff.
I saw.
Now let me ask you a question: Did George Washington?
For all
have
we
this
know, it's all
capability?
wrong. We just
Yeah, we're just fucking
We're just
idiots.
agreeing with him because we just
We're just
assume.
idiots.
He knows his stuff.
It's accurate.
So,
They used
so
it in the Civil
John,
War.
John, you're saying
Marine was in a civil.
Oh, the
The Civil
first
War was the
submarine.
first sub, right? Yes. That's
How many
no,
people
it's
fit in it? 2? Was
Two.
one-
It was like
And what
2 or
about
3
the
was for
Beatles? They
spying,
were in
yeah.
the-
Beatles had the next
That
one.
was
It was
the yellow
yellow.
submarine.
Everybody saw it though. No one liked that one.
I don't think you would fit.
I wouldn't fit in the sub.
Oh, what
You
is
will-
that?
you will next
Come
month.
on. Just came from the
Actually,
doctor.
your doctor said.
Your doctor called
said
him.
that.
Dr. Calder told me to say
It
that.
says, let's get him.
Too fat for the sub.
So you're saying, John, that there are fake, if you will, storefronts that actually are doubling as
Right. So
safe houses.
if you ever saw the movie War Games, they walk into a house, and they look like there's mannequins in the house that move around. So the Russians, if they're looking by satellite,
It's like my apartment.
at the time the satellites weren't as good. They walk into a closet, and inside there's like 2 MPs, and then they go down to a silo. So the Russians don't know which one of those houses is real and which one has the silo.
Selling sandwiches.
Yeah, it's a regular business. Well,
deli with nuclear missiles.
the Manhattan Project was called the Manhattan
Selling
Project
Subways.
because in the Woolworth building there was a law firm, and it looked like a regular law firm, had lawyers, and in the back, that's what the scientists were working on the Manhattan Project. Because the spies wouldn't know. If you put it on a top secret base, what are the spies going to do? They're going to watch who goes in and out of there. They'd have to monitor every office building in Manhattan.
Is this a known fact, or is this...
known fact. The
this is-
Woolworth building was the headquarters for the Manhattan Project in terms of where the planning was done.
Ironically, also
and
the labs out in
and
Manhattan.
A&S had the other
the
pro-
Sergeant's Benevolent Association.
And that, yes, my father-in-law works in that building.
All right,
They both
listen.
both closed.
Laughter saves lives. Live, always prepared. You always bring a good segment to the
This
table.
was
Thank
sponsored
you.
by the History Channel. I landed the History Channel.
And thanks for that special
And-
guest that was supposed to be on.
Special guest.
She never made it.
I watched the special on the Kennedys. That's one on CNN. Catch that. That's interesting. We'll talk about that one
What,
night.
the assassination?
No, the Kennedy family.
Oh, okay.
All right. Thank you to Jim Delakis and Herm for calling in. Good night, everybody.
Good night,
We're off
caller.
to the Massapequa Diner. Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Can't make this shit up.
Steve was on fire tonight.
He was fucking awesome.
He was on fire.
Slapping in hands, popcorn and peanuts. We're working
They
the
said Wheeler looked like
stands.
shit tonight.
Pink cotton candy, loving a stick. He's chasing the beer. The circle the lips play ball.
You know, one of them actually asked me like.